Hello students, I hope you are all fine and in good health. So let me continue with the discussion related to the chapter Rat Trap. I already started this chapter, discussing this chapter. So I continued up to page number 40. So only the last few lines are left in page number 40. So let me continue from there. As you know that the man, the rat trap seller, he was now in the house of the iron master, and it was because of Edla Wilmanson's persuasion he stayed back, and Edla convinced her father also that this poor chap, it is better for him to stay back and enjoy the Christmas with them, because he is a wanderer of a person who never ever receive so much of happiness in his life. So it should be a perfect time for him also to stay along with them for the Christmas. So now let's see. But the Iron Master, he was not convinced, and he told Edla that she might regret this particular thing later. So now let me continue. Now sit down and eat, she said, for she could see that her father had given in. So, after a lot of persuasion and request made by Edla Wilmanson, finally the Iron Master decided to follow her whatever she told, and decided that okay, fine, let the rat trap seller be in the house. But he was not pleased from inside. The man with the rat traps said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. Now the rat trap seller, he haven't said anything, because already, apart from being a thief, he was already now an impostor. But he haven't said a single word. He concentrated on having the food from the table. Time after time, he looked at the young girl who had interceded for him. Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? Now he looked at Edla Wilmanson, and he was not getting any idea that why this particular lady actually supported him. And it was because of her persuasion that he stayed back in the house. And but he was thinking at the back of his mind that what might be the crazy idea that this lady allowed him to stay in the house, despite knowing the fact that he was an imposter. He had taken a fake identity of Niels Olaf, one of the former acquaintance of his father, but actually he was not. When it was disclosed also, still he was been allowed to stay in the house by Edla Wilmanson. So the rat trap seller was thinking that what can be the crazy idea behind it, that why she allowed him to stay in the house. After all those incidents, why she allowed him to stay in the house. After that, Christmas Eve at Ramsjow passed just as it always had. The stranger did not cause any problem or any trouble, because he did nothing but sleep. Now, with the passage of time, Christmas Eve arrived. The stranger haven't caused trouble to anyone. What he exactly did is that he went on sleeping for long hours. The whole forenoon he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. He did nothing practically. He laid on the sofa and had a sleep, and it was for long, long hours. At noon, they woke him up so that he could have his share of the good Christmas fare. But after that, he slept again. Now he woke up for a time being, as the few guests also arrived, and then every one of them celebrated Christmas. But after that, he went on sleeping once again. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsjow. Now it seems that the way for long, long hours he slept, it seems that he haven't had a rest like this for many years in his life, and he was very much eager to avail that opportunity, and he went on sleeping for long hours. Even throughout the entire afternoon he slept. So let me continue. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsjo. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room. Now, in the evening time, when the Christmas tree was decorated and lighted, he was called once again. So he woke up once again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room along with the other members, other guests, blinking as though the candlelight hurt him. Now, his eyes, he was blinking a bit because the candlelight hurt him a lot, because for long hours he was sleeping. But after that, he disappeared again. After that, again he went and he lied down on the sofa, and again he went on sleeping. Uh, 2 hours later, he was aroused once more. He then had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. 2 hours later, he was again called. This time, he was called to the dining room. And the reason for that, because the Christmas fish and porridge was served to him, and he ate those things up. As soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said thank you and good night. Now, as soon as the meal was over, or as soon as the celebration was over, he went to each one of the guests as well as the members present. Personally, he went to each one of them sitting on the table and thanked everyone and wished them a very good night. But when he came to the young girl, that is Edla Wilmanson, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. Now, when he came uh, to face with Edla Wilmanson, the latter told him that the suit that he was wearing, he should wear it because it was a gift that was given by her father. So he should not actually had to return it back to them. He can actually wear it. So I repeat, it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. He did not have to return it. And yes, it is his now. He don't have to return the suit anymore. And if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in a place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back again. Now, an assurance was given to him that if you want to if you want to spend the next year's Christmas also in a place where there will be no tension, no problem as such, then he is always welcome. He is always welcome to their manor house. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared. Stared means to look fixedly. He only stared at the young girl to boundless amazement. Now, when this particular word of promise, or rather to say, when Edla Wilmanson told him that if next year also he feel like he want a place to stay peacefully for the Christmas, to enjoy the Christmas Eve, then obviously he can always come back to this manor house because he is always welcome. Now, in reply to this, the rat trap seller haven't uttered a single word. He just stared at Edla Wilmanson because he is still very much surprised the way the lady was behaving with him, because he haven't expected so much of hospitality after being an imposter or after carrying a fake identity of a man by the name of Niels Olaf, who was said to be a former acquaintance of Edla Wilmanson's father, that is the Iron Master. Despite all those things, Edla Wilmanson behaved in a very kind-hearted manner with him, and the rat trap seller was totally amazed. He lost his speech, he lost his words, what he would say. and he stared at Edla Will Manson, being very impressed by Edla Will Manson's generosity, by her hospitality also. So I repeat this line once again, dear students. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl to boundless amazement. It was something very much surprising for him. He stared at the young girl without uttering a single word. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter got up in good season to go to the early Christmas service. Now, the next morning, Edla Will Manson and his father, that is the ironmaster, they both woke up in good health and they decided to visit the church for the early Christmas service. So, they decided to go to the church. Their guest was still asleep and they did not disturb him. Actually, the rat trap seller, he was still in his room, and to say specifically, he was still sleeping, but they did not disturb him at all. So they both went to the church for the formal Christmas service, for actually to pray to God, to go to the church on a normal basis. So they went. The father and the daughter, both of them went. When at about 10 o'clock they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly than usual. Why? Now, at 10 o'clock, when they returned back from the church after the normal church service was over, when they returned back again, Edla Will Manson, she was very sad, and she bowed down her head. She was very dejected. She was very frustrated. That means something they heard inside the church. Something went wrong. That was the reason Edla Will Manson was feeling very, very dejected and very unhappy also. Something the father and the daughter, both of them heard at the church. See what they heard, it is written in the next line. At church, she had learned that one of the old crofters, remember that old man who used to live in a grey cottage, a widower, and who showed a leather pouch to the rat trap seller? Yes, it is the incident related to that old man. Remember, from his leather pouch only, the rat trap seller had taken 30 kroners by breaking the window panes. I hope you all remember, it was at the middle part of the story. Previously, we have read about it. So that news had spread. So now they realize that the man who is taking shelter in their house and had celebrated Christmas with them and peacefully sleeping in their house, he is not only an impostor, but he is also a thief. Now let's see, the Edla Will Manson haven't expected to hear this type of news about this rat trap seller. And that was the reason she was very dejected, because she trusted this rat trap seller a lot. And that is the reason she was feeling very unhappy. At church, she had learned, she means Edla Will Manson, that one of the old crofters of the ironworks had been robbed by a man who went around selling rat traps. Now it is very clear who that man was who used to sell rat traps. It is the person who is taking shelter in their house. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said her father. I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. Now, obviously, the iron master previously, he was not in support of the rat trap seller from the very beginning. Only when the identity of his own real identity was disclosed, he actually was very much eager to inform the sheriff. But it was because of Edla Will Manson's persuasion and the way she handled the entire situation. The iron master haven't told anything at that moment, but he told that she might regret it later. Now the time for that came. Now the iron master told Edla Will Manson that I already warned you previously. Now after going back home, you might find that many precious silver spoons are not present in the house. So I repeat, I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. The wagon had hardly stopped at the front steps when the iron master asked the valet whether the stranger was still there. He added that he had heard at church that the man was a thief. So after reaching the manor house, the iron master immediately communicated with the valet, that is the personal attendant, and told him that from the church they got the information that the man who was taking shelter in their manor house. He was actually a thief who had taken 30 kroners from an old man who used to live in a little grey cottage in the woods. So this information the ironmaster communicated to the valet in order to know about whether the person who that is the rat trap seller, whether he is in the house or not. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and that he had not taken anything with him at all. But the valet gave something very positive. He told that to the iron master and to Edla Wilmanson that the rat trap seller had already left their manor house and he hadn't taken anything with him. He hadn't taken anything with him. This is a very important line. The fellow had gone and that he had not taken anything with him at all, and he haven't taken anything at all with him. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package which Miss Wilmanson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. Now, the important thing is that he haven't taken anything. On the contrary, on the other hand, he left a sort of a Christmas present and maybe a sort of a letter also that was written to Miss Wilmanson, that is Edla Wilmanson. Now, this information they got from the valet. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up that the contents came into view at once. Now, the packaging was done in such a bad manner that what was inside, the contents came out, visible. So I repeat, the young girl opened the package which was so badly done up that the contents came into view at once. She gave a little cry of joy. Now after opening the package, she actually gave a cry of joy. She found a small rat trap and in it lay 3 wrinkled 10 kroner notes. So after opening that package, she found a small rat trap and inside the small rat trap she found 3 crumpled 10 kroner notes. Remember, it was actually been stolen by the rat trap seller previously from the old man who used to live in a grey cottage in the midst of the woods. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter written in large jagged characters. Now, apart from all these things, there was a letter also. As I told you, dear students, a letter was also written by the rat trap seller to Edla Wilmanson. Now, what was written in the letter? Let us come to that. Honored and noble miss, since you have been so nice to me all day long as I was a captain, I want to be nice to you in return as if I was a real captain, for I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief. Now, very specifically, he mentioned that I am not a captain, but you treated me as a captain, Captain von Stache. So you treated me as a captain. Though I am an impostor, I am a thief, I don't want you to be embarrassed. I don't want you to be embarrassed because you treated me with a lot of generosity, with a lot of hospitality. I don't want to embarrass you at the end of the day. But you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside. Now I am hereby keeping those 30 kroners inside a small rat trap. You can give this money to the old man who is to live in a grey cottage, who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for poor wanderers. Now he used to keep that money pouch in the leather pouch. He used to keep that money and is to hang it near the window pane so that he can use it as a bait for poor wanderers. You can give him the money. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat, and here the rat is refers to the rat trap seller, who would have been caught in the world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain. But I would have been lured towards temptation, towards greedy activities, towards thievery and all those antisocial activities. I would have done much more crime. But it was because of you I came back to my normal life. It was because of you who treated me as a captain and had raised myself as a captain. Because in that way he got power to clean himself. But yes, now because of your treatment, because of your hospitality and kind nature, though I am not a captain, but you raised me to be a captain. Now I am hereby giving back that 30 kroner note that I had taken from that old man so that it can be duly returned to him. Now I could have entered the world of the rat trap just like other people, and I would have committed one crime after another. I would have led my life in a some sort of a different manner, in an evil manner. But I restrained myself, and thank God it was because of you, because of your generous and kind behavior, I was able to clean myself. That is the main thing. I was able to purify myself from all the sins and from all the evil things. I could have done much more evil things, but it was because of your generosity, because of your kindness, I was able to clean myself, and hereby I am returning those things that actually lured me inside the rat trap. Written with friendship and high regard, Captain von Stache. Now, finally, he signed the letter by writing Captain von Stache because he wanted to stay in our heart as a captain, and he wanted to clean himself. That exactly he did. So, finally, as a theme, also, we get to know from the very beginning only, it was a theme that the essential human goodness. Finally, it's a triumph of the essential human goodness that is present in each and every one of us. And finally, at the end of the story, also, we find that the glorification and the triumph of the essential human goodness can be felt. Okay, dear students, I end this lesson right here. Now, please go through this audio lecture presentation. This is the final part of the chapter that I completed. And if there is any problem anywhere, kindly let me know. Thank you, students. Thank you all.